So Enzo Maresca really is alive after all, because we have seen the preseason pictures, we've seen the videos come out. He's looked animated, he's looked involved, and to be honest, this reminds me of when Thomas Tuchel came in, and I think immediately he took his first, training session, just drilling tactics, drilling just positional play, just getting involved straight away. Now, is this going to bode well for us in the future? I listen. It's day one. Preseason is going to be, a very long process. But you see, like, I go on Twitter and I just look at the reactions, and everyone is just gassed. Like everyone is just really gassed, and that just tells you, we've been starving. Like, and no disrespect to like Pochettino, but I mean for your own, midfielders like your Caicedo, especially, who came out and said like, "Hey, when I came to this team when I played for Brighton, it was very tactical work, tactical, and then when I moved to Chelsea, it was all about essentially running cardio." And it's no surprise that fans tend to tell us our best midfielders, or our best midfielder was Conor Gallagher, which just exemplifies what Pochettino's value and his, you know, just his preparations were. Just being able to run, counter press, all of that stuff. Now, the thing is, when you look at, sometimes you have to look at the squad you have, and you have to look at the players you have, and then you have to plan accordingly. Now, could it have been on, the sporting directors who brought this guy in, and, again, you had to know who you were hiring, right? But at the same time, like as a coach who's been there, done that, coached some of the biggest teams, um, it's just you should be able to adapt. And it just felt like for the majority of last year, he just never really did adapt. And we struggled a lot. You know, Surprisingly, when we played against the bigger teams, we did well. When we played against the smaller teams, we just struggled, right? Um, but again, Maresca is a very unknown entity at this point. Again, no one, I didn't watch him at Leicester City. You have to listen to people's perspectives. I've seen a few clips of how his team plays, but again, this is Leicester. This is not Chelsea. You don't know how he is going to like implement, his tactics, his decision making, his lineups, and we'll see if he can adapt for the better. But right now, it's early days, but it is very good to see the likes of Wesley Fofana, Christopher Nkunku, Romeo Lavia, Carney Chukwuemeka. It's good to see these guys involved in, like the early preseason. And I think one of the biggest improvements the owners have been able to do to this team is, I guess, revamp the medical department. Only because, look, you got to do something else. If whatever you used to do before wasn't working, you got to try something else. And hopefully this time with these new guys coming in, it will be a much better, you know, injury history, and just keeping some of these big guys fit. Because I do genuinely believe that like some of these guys we never really got to see last year or barely saw, they definitely would have added, some extra stuff. They would have added some extra quality, some goals, defensive solidity. Um, and I think in the long run, it would have served us for the better. So again, early days, but we would see what's going on. Now, it's looking like Arsenal are going to sign Calafiori, and again, look, it's one of those, like, for me, just as a football fan, as a Chelsea fan, I'm kind of like didn't really know much about the guy, like I've said in other videos, but clearly Arsenal have seen something in him. The coaches have seen something that they appreciate. They think he's going to be that extra, bolster to their title hopes. And, spending about 42 million pounds on this guy, I don't think he's somebody you're trying to have on the bench. If that's somebody you want to have on the bench, yep, good luck. Do you? But again, what do I think about that? I don't know. Would have to really see him in action for them. Would have to see him performing. Again, the Italian league is completely different. It's different from the Premier League because we've seen the likes of Christian Pulisic, Loftus Cheek. These guys go over to Serie A and then just look good. They've stayed fit. They've looked like they've just adapted to the league. The English league is just a different speed. The intensity is different. It's physical. So we'll see how this guy can hold up. But Man United are making some big, big moves. Today, Fabrizio Romano gave the news that they had sent an offer of like 50 million euros plus add-ons to Lille for Lenny Euro, and of course, he's waiting. Euro's waiting on that Madrid move, and if of course Madrid are not going to pay or even offer anything close to that. Now, I think if they really value the guy and they think like, yeah, he really is worth that money, they will pay it. Madrid paid a lot of money for Endrick, so them paying similar money for Eurosh would not be anything too crazy. But for me, I just think they don't value him at that price. And United potentially want to be, they want to give Lil and the player some sort of like a little bit of pressure because now Euro can wait and be like, you know what? Clearly, Madrid don't really value me because this is what United is paying. Madrid ain't paying that much. I might go to Man United. So that means United are going to get Euro. They're still trying to get Braithwaite, and they're going to get the Ligt. I mean, that's like a whole reshuffle of that back line. And whether we like it or not, again, the Ligt for me personally, for someone to go from Ajax, one of the at the time one of like the sought after defenders, just go straight to Juventus, not really do well. Go to Bayern Munich, not do well, and now you're going to you're essentially going to like your third team in like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, that's kind of again. Some people might not really adapt to certain leagues, so we got to give him that credit. Um, but he's only like what 24, 25 potentially, and you're gonna be on like your third move. For me, that kind of screams red flag. Because if this was any other team that was making this move, I know that criticisms will be with it. But is he better than some of the options United have, bar Martinez? Potentially, yes. Is he a better defender than Harry Maguire? I would say so. Is he a better defender than Lindelof? I would say so. Again, United have lost Varane, so they do need the numbers, and if they're able to pull off Zerke, Ligt, Brathwaite, and Euro, again, that's like three defenders though. Like I think that midfield still needs a lot of work, and they're getting Zerke in, so that covers like the attack. But I still think that defense needs a lot of work. But these are solid signings that will probably take their spending to in the summer already over like the 200 million mark. Now, when you look at these options, are they needle movers? Um, I'm not quite sure because again, we don't know what the league is going to look like in the league. I mean, we know Braithwaite played for Everton, but again, going to United is going to be a big jump. How is he going to play under the pressure of being, playing? Like now you're playing for one of the biggest teams in the world. This is not, Everton. With all due respect, this is Manchester United. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world. one of the most historic clubs. So now you can't really be having certain performances because now everything is under a microscope. Can I see him adapted to it? Absolutely. He's young, he's English, so he knows the league. He's played in the league. I don't think that will be the problem. It will just maybe be like a mentality thing where he just has to be like, yeah, I belong at this stage, and he would just take to that team like a duck in water. But United are making big moves. They're gonna get a striker. They're gonna get defenders, and for me, the only thing is they still have Ten Hag though. It's the coach is like that factor for me because we've seen him 2 years, but you got to respect it. The guy has won 2 trophies in 2 years. Can't even hate on that. The football in the first year was a lot better. The second year was just a disaster to watch. It was actually nasty. No, it was just nauseating. But if he probably gets a lot of these, new profiles and just injecting these, new defenders, younger guys into the team and just quality, that would be like more quality added to the team. And I think they can make a big push. But for me, I still think that midfield needs a lot of work. And the transfer, the window's still long. The window's still long. They might still be able to like make all these other additions they want, and they might just have a really good season. Now today, Spain played France, and I think the best team won at the end. I did say Spain were one of my picks for this tournament, and again, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Spain. They look like the most complete team so far in this Euros, and I think Pedri's injury might actually come as a blessing in disguise, only because now, see, if you had Ruiz, Pedri, and Rodri, yes, you have the control, you have the technique, you have, the defensive balance, you have the possession based, but you don't have that penetration from midfield. Now, what Olmo gives you is that goal scoring touch. And like I've seen this guy do it at club level for Spain over and over and over again. So when Pedri got injured and he came in on my watch along, I said, listen, this is not the worst move to make. You're taking out Pedri. Now you got Rodri who goes deeper, Ruiz, but you're adding goals from midfield because Olmo gives you goals. It gives you technicality in that midfield. He puts in work. So you're not really losing that much quality. And what does he go do? He's got like 3 goals and possibly like 2 assists in like 2 games. So again, France, they if France had somehow made it to this final, it would have been like and if France just I don't even know what to call it, but again would it be deserved? Yes, because they eventually got there. And look, no one cares how you. Again, people might care, but if you're in the final and you're just getting by, no one's gonna care how you win it. If you win it, you win it. So the best team won. Now Spain is in the final. Shout out, again we got to shout um, Yamal. This kid is about to be like 17, and he's just doing impossible things. He's very talented, and hopefully, he's still his coaches are able to like manage his minutes. They're able to take care of him because he's still young. He's growing into his body. But he's a very special player. I mean, he plays, for someone who's 16, he plays way too mature for his age. So good win for Spain. Now I just need England to get to the final. So for me, either way, I have Chelsea players represented in the final. If Spain win it, Cucurella gets international medal. If England, hopefully they don't lose to the Netherlands. But if England gets to the final, then hey, still got my boy Cole Palmer over there, still winning more trophies. So that game was good. Spain deserve it. They've been legit the best They've been the best team in the tournament so far, and hopefully they'll go on and they do win it. Now, another transfer, rumor was Adiyemi to Chelsea, and if this was like 3 years ago, this would make sense because that's when we played Dortmund, and he had a very good performance, especially in that first leg against Chelsea. But it's been like 2, 3 years, and he's not really kicked on. I mean, to just have four GNA in that many games in the German league, that's not good enough. These aren't the targets we should be looking at. We should be looking at your Ivan Tony. Like that's someone who's proven. You put the money down, sign Tony to like a 4-year contract. Look, his wages might not be that crazy, but he will be a needle mover. Like that's a striker you could play up there. If you really, really don't trust the wingers we have, play Nico Jackson on the wings. After all, he can do a good job over there. He might bar Nkunku for me. Bar Nkunku, Jackson is our best left winger. Bar Nkunku. So if you get Tony and you don't want to play Nkunku, on the left, play Jackson. We still have a much better balance. We have more of a goal threat. And he legit automatically he improves this team. We legit go from sixth to potentially fourth or third because you're adding someone who can guarantee you 15 goals a season. How many points can 15 goals potentially win you in a season? That's maybe like an extra like 10 points. You add 10 points to what you already had last year. Now you're looking a lot better than what you were the year prior. So for me, Adiyemi, it's a no go for me. A lot of these debt signings we're making just for me they don't really move the needle. I think yes, we're signing potential for the future, but yeah, we're looking at the now. Like we want to go back into the Champions League. We want to go back into being able to like compete for these, domestic cups, the FA Cup, the Carling Cup. Like we want to be able to compete for these things, and now be playing UEFA Conference League. So for me, I think that's one of those. I really pray we don't make that. Like I pray we don't make that transfer only because it's honestly pointless. It's really pointless. Adiyemi adds not that much to this team. Just stick with what you got and just invest your money into a better striker for me. But guys, listen, this has been the end of another video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think United are moving in. Like I said, I think they're moving in the right direction. They're making the right signings, and also for Chelsea, we've changed the medical team. Hopefully, that increases our chances of keeping our key players fit. Because seeing the likes of Fofana, Levi Colwell, Lavia, this guy that brings a little happiness to you. You can't even say like seeing these guys in preseason. Hopefully, they stay fit. You can't say that doesn't get you excited because again, we haven't really been able to see these guys because they've always been injured. So we'll see how this goes. I think potentially tomorrow there might be more news coming out. I will cover those as well. But sub to the channel, like the video, uh, comment on the video. I want to get at least let's try like 100 likes for this video. But just thanks for the support as always, and hopefully the new season is going to be looking a whole lot better for us Chelsea fans. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.